New King Diamond, Operation Mindcrime III, and some bands simply do not know when to stop. Metal is life and well, so let's see what keeps it going today. Here you go. New King Diamond. A New King Diamond album is one of those things that you kinda do understand that it should be released sometime in the future, but at the same time it's been spoken of for so long that it has become somewhat of a metal myth, a legend, a fairy tale that not that many people believe in anymore. But this month, everything is different, because this October 15th, King Diamond kicked off their new tour, and on it they have already presented not one, but two new songs, Spider Lily and Electro Therapy. Yet, of course, did that without announcing a new album. And so this week, in an interview to my dear friend Jimmy K of The Metal Voice, guitarist Andy LaRocque and bassist Pontus Agberg spoke quite a bit about a next long play by the legendary King Diamond. The conversations of which, of course, have arisen once again after these two new songs have been performed. And so, answering the question whether a new album is already ready, they said the following: "We're still working on it, and as soon as we get back from tour, we're gonna have a little Christmas break, and then we're gonna pick it up again. So the plan is to have everything done this spring, and it will be released shortly after the European Summer Festival tour and all that. That's the plan we have," said the musicians. So yeah, on one hand, no, actually on both hands, this is great news, because come on, it's a New King Diamond album, and just as a reminder guys, the latest one was released all the way back in 2007, so it has already been 17 years since its release. But at the same time, just as a reminder, even if everything goes as planned for the guys, it will only see the light of day sometime in the end of 2025. And so here's just a little thing to freak you out: a break between it and Give Me Your Soul Please will be longer than between Fatal Portrait and the previous to the last album, The Puppet Master. And here guys, I simply have to share another rather unpleasant piece of math with you. Only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to the Metal Pilgrim channel. And we all of course cannot influence when a New King Diamond album will be released, but this is something that we can actually change. So if you do find yourself in the other 70%, so meaning you still haven't subscribed to this channel, and especially if this is not the first video you're watching here, I would really appreciate it if you would consider doing it right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together. Judas Priest have gone insane. So yeah guys, speculations are over, and we were all right discussing what we have discussed over the past month, as this week Judas Priest have finally officially announced their 2025 Shield of Pain tour, which will of course concentrate on their latest studio release Invincible Shield and celebrate the 35th anniversary of the legendary Painkiller. And here's the thing, I actually released a long-ass video about it this week, including a speculation about what Judas Priest might play on this tour, including everything we know about it. So I'm not gonna go over it in this video, you can watch it after watching this Metal Digest if you want to. But here I just once again want to point out that this decision, and not only this one, we'll talk about this in a moment, is absolutely insane. As the thing is that Invincible Shield, although it may not sound like it, is a very complicated record to be performed live, both instrumental-wise and vocally as well. And if you combine it with the intensity of Painkiller, you may understand that this decision is absolutely insane, as concentrating on these two albums on a setlist would be very hard for any band, and I would actually argue that Judas Priest are the only band in the world who could even attempt something like this at 56th year of their existence. So yeah, it looks like next year, among Iron Maiden's Run For Your Life tour and Judas Priest's Shield of Pain tour and gazillion of other incredible tours announced already, it will be an incredible year for all the heavy metal maniacs around the world. But here's the craziest thing. In the recent interview, Richie Faulkner actually pointed out that among this very heavy touring schedule, Judas Priest will also try to carve out some time to write new music. And no, of course, this does not mean that a new Judas Priest album is coming in 2025 or even 2026, as we actually spoke to Rob Halford about a new album which has become Invincible Shield back in 2021, and we all of course know that it was released only in 2024. But still, it's just mind-blowing for me that a band that at this stage of their career, of course, does not really have to prove anything to anyone anymore, still sets such incredible challenges for itself. And I guess that's why they're called Metal Gods. Okay guys, here's the thing. In order for this channel to continue existing, I kinda have to remind you about merch, but at the same time, to stay in YouTube trends, I'm told that I should do it in under 10 seconds. So, here you go. Dear channel viewers, if you would like to rock some Metal Pilgrim merch at your next metal show or this holiday season, you can order it at metalpilgrim.net, and I'll be more than happy to send it anywhere across the world. And just in case if you decide to do that, thank you, because it does help me out quite a lot. Whew, that was quick. Geoff Tate and Operation Mindcrime III. In a recent interview to Rock of Nations, Geoff Tate, the ex-vocalist of the legendary Queensryche, spoke about the fact that he is currently working on new music. And not just any new music, but a follow-up to Queensryche's legendary album, Operation Mindcrime. So according to Geoff Tate, the new album will have an early Queensryche feel and will be super heavy and incredibly technical, which of course sounds great, yet left the fans asking themselves whether with all that it will also be necessary. Because the thing is that Operation Mindcrime is of course one of the most iconic progressive metal albums in the world, and some may actually say that it is one of the best conceptual albums ever made in metal, and therefore of course the temptation to ride the wave of its success even 30-something years later is extremely high. And even when it comes to Queensryche's Operation Mindcrime II, which was released back in 2006. While this album was actually quite good, for many band's fans it was in fact a rather mixed bag, which although of course did quite well in the charts, for many fell short of the original 1988 album, and thus was deemed by many Queensryche's fans as unnecessary. And so now, 16 years later, Geoff Tate announces that he's working on a final third chapter of a saga about Nikki, which this time he is actually working on by himself, without his ex-band members. And therefore, even though of course it does have a potential to be a great record, only time will tell whether it will be able to match the success of the legendary 1988 album. But anyways, what do you guys personally think about Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime overall, and whether you want to hear a follow-up to this record done by Geoff Tate? Please let us know in the comments. And by the way, a fun fact that a couple of days after this interview, Queensryche themselves actually went on and said that they are hitting the studio and they are about to record a new album in 2025. And I think that it would simply be hilarious if they would actually be working on their version of a final chapter to the Operation Mindcrime saga. But anyways, please let us know what you guys think. I'm actually really curious to find out. And now the time has come for your favorite part of the video, in which we talk about 5 latest releases from this week, which you absolutely should not miss, yet which I sadly did not grant their own segments in this video, for otherwise it would have been like a 40-minute long one. I don't think that any of you would stand watching my boring face for that long. One of the best modern heavy metal acts, Burning Witches, dropped a surprise single, The Spell of the Skull, first new music since the release of The Dark Tower in 2023, and the first song written with the guitarist Courtney Cox, known to many Iron Maiden fans in the band. And this track once again shows why Burning Witches are gaining such a die-hard fan base of heavy metal maniacs around the world. So if you are a fan of classic heavy metal with a modern twist, definitely check it out. David Ellefson's Dieth released a new single, Animal Me. Animal Me represents the breaking of the threshold of what was once thought possible. It's about reaching that moment when someone has pushed you beyond all your limits, and now it's time to show them the way. Your way. No one can be like you or possesses the unique power that lies within you. No lies, no pretense. Just the pure release of your own truth. Said about the track, the band's vocalist Guilherme Miranda. Icelandic cowboys Solstafir returned with a new album, Hinhelga Kvöld. The band, which deviated from its original sound so much that at this point it is virtually impossible to label it with one particular genre, dropped an extremely diverse record, which takes its listener on a stylistic roller coaster which you will either absolutely love or simply hate, so it's best to judge it for yourself. Symphonic power metal band Seven Kingdoms treated its fans to a new EP, The Square. Although formed in Florida, Seven Kingdoms follows the steps of the European power metal scene more so than most of their countrymates. And the EP blends this classic power metal sound with that of the 80s hair metal vibe, which makes it super fun for a fan of either genre. American heavy metal band Impellitteri treated their fans to a first new album in 6 years, titled War Machine. And this record has everything a classic metal fan could ask for. Catchy riffs, energetic vocals, ground choruses, and just overall everything you want to hear in an old school heavy metal record. And the band's founder, Chris, is as crisp as ever. So not much more one could ask for here. And here, as always, I just have to remind you that maybe even some of these releases are present in our new metal playlist, Metal 365, available on Spotify and YouTube Music, which consists of 5 latest metal songs from all over the world and which is updated weekly and therefore is somewhat of a Billboard Top 50, but for metal. So if you still haven't added it to your library, you should definitely do that after watching this video. Dian's gotta be kidding us! Because in the last couple of weeks, pretty much everyone has left Dian. So I kinda think that they do everything they can to just appear in our Metal Digest. But anyways, this week, a month later, and just as a reminder, a week before a new band's album is supposed to hit the store, Dian, well, I mean, Tim Lambesis, as the only guy left in the band, finally broke the silence and issued a statement explaining that everyone leaving this band was simply because of some creative differences. Phil and I no longer saw eye to eye personally, creatively, or financially. Discussions during this time prompted his decision to depart first, with each of the touring members deciding to leave shortly after, as they were not interested in going on without him. Unfortunately, that wasn't the order in which everything was made public, as some statements were rushed out during a chaotic time in response to rumors. So yeah guys, all of this was simply because of some creative differences between Tim and one band member, Phil, and the whole fact that the rest of the band, including some of the crew members, left Dian weeks before Phil did was simply because, you know, they were faster typers. It just took Phil longer to produce that post, but other than that, everything is well, said Tim Lambesis. After which, you won't believe this, but he said that he will actually continue Dian with new band members. And here's the thing, I kind of hope that we don't really have to talk about this band in the coming digests, because you guys know I'm a very positive person. One of the biggest criticisms of this channel was the whole fact that I only talk positively about most of metal bands that I listen to. But when it comes to As I Lay Dying, after everything that this band has gone through, I just think that some things are better left as they are. As at this point, I don't think that anyone believes that all of this happens simply because of some creative and financial differences. And maybe it's time for Tim Lambesis to finally end this project and get a new job. Hopefully somewhere at McDonald's. Delain's return. One of the most anticipated comebacks of this week was Delain's new EP, Dance with the Devil. And since most of you guys know that every week for our Metal Digest we invite new band for our Metal Chat, and there are actually quite a lot of bands who really want to get into our Metal Digest. There's a wait line now. But anyways, this week I thought that it would be really cool to show a little excerpt from an archive interview I did with Delain, in which they actually spoke about this particular EP a year ago.
How is it working with a new singer?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I sometimes I have to squeeze my arm and say, this is happening, you know, because it was really a roller coaster the last couple of years. We had a pandemic, we had a split in the band, there was so much happening. So I'm really, really happy. Now we're here. So Wacken is fantastic.
Absolutely. Do you already feel like you've got this, like it's a band that you will be moving forward with? Or are you still getting used to each other?
More than ever.
From the first moment, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, we immediately matched each other and I have felt the chemistry. So I think,
in the past, I thought, I'm professional and we're colleagues and it's okay. But like, you know, I've been musician for 20 years and I always thought, no, that's okay. And it is okay, but it can also happen that you're really friends. And that's really what's happening.
So do you have any plans for even newer material already?
Yes. Yeah, actually, already started writing before this album was released.
Wow!
So because it was released, I think this year, February, and in January already started playing with stuff. And then we're now collecting stuff. And in 2 weeks going to Finland because we have friends there, and it's a very peaceful environment. It gets the creative juices going. So yeah, it's really exciting times with writing, and touring as well. So it all comes together. All pieces really come together so great.
Cheers. Cheers, man. Yeah? And
cheers.
He has to drive, just in case.
Yeah. I'm a good boy.
The full version of the interview with Delain, recorded backstage at Wacken Open Air, will be uploaded on our Patreon page, and you don't really have to be a patron, it will be there available for everyone. So if you're a fan of Delain, make sure to follow the link in the description to this video. But here I also just wanted to remind you guys that if you want me to showcase any particular band in our Metal Chat segment, I'll be more than happy to feature the bands that you want to see. So make sure to send them to me at press@metalpilgrim.net. And yeah, in case you didn't realize, we lost the first recording of the video for this segment, so I kinda had to re-record it real quick. Sleep Token and the back-end tracks. So this week, 2 Sleep Token band members, bassist 3 and the guitarist and vocalist 4, in case you guys don't know, they don't have names in Sleep Token, just numbers, and their vocalist has a special name, Vassal. But anyways, 2 of them fell sick, which happened just a day before the announced show in Zurich. But the craziest thing is that Sleep Token decided to not cancel that show and instead carry on and announce that the band will use pre-recorded parts for the 2 band members. Which for me, I'll be honest with you, was quite weird, simply because of the fact that Sleep Token consists of only 4 band members. So in reality, this show was given by just a drummer and their vocalist. And the rest was pre-recorded. But nevertheless, the craziest thing is the amount of support the Sleep Token fanbase has given to the band because of this decision, as pretty much no one has sold their tickets, and in addition to that, their fans have simply taken Sleep Token social media accounts by storm, with leaving gazillion of comments in support of Sleep Token, and in particular, their decision to carry on with that show using backing tracks. And here I have to be honest with you guys, I can't stand Sleep Token. I mean, not the band themselves. I actually think that their marketing and the whole entourage around this band is simply incredible. I just really can't get into their music, and I really tried to. I actually really did, and I even went to see Sleep Token live, but it's just not my kind of music, I'll be honest with you. But at the same time, I simply admire how dedicated their fans are, and despite the whole fact that no, this is not my kind of music, I love the whole fact that there are new bands out there who are able to unite the fans around them and create such a diehard following of their music. But anyways, what new music did you listen to this week? Please let us know in the comments. And guys, another thing I wanted to point out, that I have a very special piece of vinyl record in the back here today, because an ex-drummer of this band has sadly died on the front lines, defending Ukraine and defending Europe and the free world from the attacks of the orcs. So guys, please do not forget that the biggest war since World War II is going on right now, right in the middle of Europe. And there are people dying here every day. And thank you to each and every one of you who continues supporting us through this very difficult time. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please don't forget to like it, comment under it, of course share the news with other fans, and if you use Instagram, Facebook, any other social media platforms, please make sure you join us there as well. I'd love to hang out with you outside of our YouTube bubble as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!